Welcome back to Combat Sports Weekly. Only a three-person panel this week. A lot more time to talk. Three good topics. Let's jump right into it. Usually we have four people on the panel. We usually give them about 30 seconds, but all of us will have some extra time to kind of chit-chat here, guys. So how do you feel? Let's get it started. First off, James Lindemuth, 6'10", the sports animal. When can people tune in to listen?
It's going to be every Thursday at 5:35. But that's when we do our combat sports segment, and I've got an all-sports show coming up here shortly.
Well, welcome. It was good doing the Buffalo Thunder play-by-play and color commentating with you this past weekend.
Awesome experience.
Yeah. To his right, Micah Frankel, Cage Minds MMA, Fox Sports FM, Red Menace TV. What did I miss?
That's everything. Also, you can keep up with the DC Life on the abq.fm app. Listen to us anytime.
Let's jump right into it, guys.
And your pictures at the post office as well.
Right.
I remember right.
It's anonymous.
Let's jump right into it. Floyd Mayweather versus Andre Berto, a big fight that's, you know, flying under everybody's radar. James, why do you think that's the case?
I just don't know that it has the marketability that they were hoping for. And, you know, I think Floyd decided he wanted to fight for his 49th victory against somebody that he felt fairly comfortable in beating. And Andre Berto, well, if you're a huge boxing fan, you know who he is. If you're not, it's a name that you haven't heard before. And the fact that he's lost, you know, several of his last 6 fights, it doesn't help.
What do you think pay-per-view numbers are going to do?
According to what I've read, the live gate is going to be, you know, according 2,000 seats that are still left.
I think
you know, pay-per-view numbers, 400,000. 500,000 maybe?
It'll be difficult. $80 for Andre Berto. It's going to be very hard. You think you're going to buy it?
I'll be watching Invicta that night. This is the ramifications of putting out a stinker. All the hype, the overcharging, everything it didn't live up to, and now no one's buying what Mayweather's selling. This is just the repercussions of making all that money from the last fight. This one's going to take a loss.
What do you think of him being a 30-1 and 40-1 favorite? You never see that in MMA.
That is astronomical, but then again, he got to pick his own opponent. He's his own manager. He, you know, picked a guy again that you said that he feels comfortable with. In the preview, the best thing they can say about him is, look at how good a shape Berto looks right now.
Yeah.
That's the best thing they can say.
So I decided a couple of days ago that I am going to buy it. You know, I haven't missed a Floyd Mayweather fight in about 13 years, but I was questioning myself. But then I looked at this undercard. Badu Jack versus George Groves, Ramon Martinez versus Orlando Salido, Vanis Mariojian against Ishii Smith. So finally, they're putting a lot of notable guys, like guys that have been former world champions, on the undercard. So it's good to see that they're finally building that up. But my disappointment is that they didn't promote the undercard at all.
Well, and you're perfectly right. And to talk about the Buffalo Thunder event that we were talking about, the undercard was by far better than the actual main event. I mean, Fidel Maldonado won, but in fairly easy fashion. The undercard was phenomenal. So it is kind of a disservice that they didn't promote that undercard. Right. But Mayweather doesn't want the undercard promoted. He wants it Mayweather, Mayweather, Mayweather. And so what he says goes, it seems.
Well, I'll let you guys know how the event turned out, but I'm hoping that undercard lives.
Well, no, if you're going to buy it, I'll come to your house.
Could this be in effort to build towards the future, or kind of start putting these cards together so that the next step of his promoting
this
business?
Is his last fight.
Well, this is his last fight, but promoting now, you know, stepping over.
I definitely think so, and I certainly hope that's the case because it's a pretty good matchup. So let's jump right into the next topic. We're out of time for that. John Dodson, obviously a lopsided decision loss to Demetrius Johnson. I was the only one that ended up picking Demetrius Johnson at our roundtable last week. I mean, I didn't go out on
Thanks for pointing that out.
I didn't go out on a limb there.
You were right.
But nonetheless, will John Dodson ever fight for a title again? Will it be at 125, or does he have to move up to 135, Micah?
Joe Soto's fought for a title. Anything can happen in the UFC. A
Ouch.
guy on his debut, he finds himself with Joseph Benavidez and Miesha Tate in this little box of why should we deserve a trilogy fight with losing. But anything can happen. You step up and take a fight a la Chael Sonnen, Vitor Belfort. There's been plenty of questionable UFC title fights before. It's not out of the realm of possibility. It doesn't look like a strong probability right now, though.
Yes or no, will he move to 135?
Yes.
Really?
I think he moves up there. He feels confident he can beat Dillashaw, so I think he moves up there, utilizes his speed, and he still has the power to keep up with them, now having twice, you know, been on the wrong end of the straw.
Obviously, he's very disappointed in that, but, you know, 135 is where he had success on tough. So, and he talked about fighting TJ Dillashaw, again, a guy who he defeated in the past.
Right, but I mean, think back when Diego was on tough. Diego had success at welterweight, and obviously that's not where he ended up having his success as later on in his career.
That's very true.
I do think that he will fight for a title again if Johnson loses, because there is no interest in that third fight with the way that the first two fights went. No one wants to see Dodson Johnson 3 after the way the first two went. So if Johnson loses, then absolutely. If he continues to win at that weight, he could certainly get a title shot. I don't know that I see the weight, the weight jump. I don't know that he can sustain that level of quickness and that level of power that he has gaining that much weight. I just don't.
I think he's going to try it, though.
Yeah. No, he definitely will. I mean, who's the name? I mean, while we're on Demetrius Johnson topic, who's going to beat him?
Okay, right now he has a list of challengers coming up. You get Jussier Formiga, you get Henry Cejudo. I still like Ray Borg in this division as the dark horse to take it from him. Dustin Ortiz looked phenomenal in his last fight. And Zach Makovsky, even though he's coming off the loss to Dodson, it was a decision loss in a close fight. So there's still 5, 6 guys that could potentially challenge him. He's beaten a lot of these top guys, and these young guys need to beat them.
Do any of those guys have the cardio to keep up with them?
Not right now, but...
That's a conversation
evolution
for another day, unfortunately, gentlemen. We'll jump into the last topic, the lack of Albuquerque combat sports events. I know we've had some King of the Cage events. We had some pretty good MMA events and boxing events in 2014, but how disappointing is it that a lot of these events are happening outside the metro city of Albuquerque?
Well, I mean, it's disappointing, obviously, not just from a fan perspective, but that's what we do. That's how we work. So yeah, it's disappointing, but a lot of these times that people have had events, at MCM or at Crown Plaza or at Tingley, the turnout just isn't there, which I don't understand. I just don't. But from a promoter standpoint, I don't blame them. So yeah, of course, it's super disappointing.
Micah, I know you travel to a lot of these events, Farmington, Las Cruces, whatever it might be. I mean, wouldn't it be nice to be able to
It'd be nice to stay at home,
here?
but there's
just
been
take
so
the Uber,
many
to the event.
There's been so many promotions that have just not succeeded, from Desert Extreme to Ingenious Promotions to AAA MMA to CES to Tapia. Johnny Tapia Presents. They've just fallen apart. And then some of these bigger ones, XFC, RFA, they've came here. You only go to the convention center to lose money and to never come back. Even the shows that have went to the Star Center, Sparta, Bellator, they just never come back. Buffalo Thunder get sellouts. I don't know what it is about Espanola and Santa Fe, but they sell out Camel Rock. They sell out Buffalo Thunder. And outside of King of the Cage, not a lot of these promotions are taking that route of going to these smaller hotels. And King of the Cage does that with a 300, 400 person room. It's promoters shooting too big for what's working so far.
But the thing that I don't understand, there was an event that they had at the Pit. I forget what it was, but they had Karen Bryant come in. Yeah, and they did everything right.
They went all out.
They did, and they spent a ton of money, and they lost their heads on it, just because people just didn't show up. And that was an amazing fight card. The production was done right. The arena looked fantastic, and people just didn't show. And I don't know why.
And go ahead.
I was in the crowd for that event. I remember being told that we could go sit on the other side of the arena so that the camera could be on one side so that you could see that there was a full side. And you're sitting there on that half, and you're realizing there's nobody on the other half of the arena. It was a good card, though.
Yeah, no, it definitely was. And I think the fact that Fidel Maldonado Jr. is back in New Mexico, hopefully he fights a couple more times here to build his name here locally. That'll increase the size of the events. So here's fingers crossed that we get more events here in the Albuquerque area, but the rest of New Mexico and El Paso, congratulations, you're getting all the fights.
Oh, and the loss of Holly Holm is hurt.
Yeah, no, definitely. But that'll do it for this week. We'll make sure, stick around. We'll see you guys next week.